It turns out to be Bing Bing. She came to greet Mr. Lin. She friendly waved her hand and said, "How about I drive you home? It's on the way." Honestly, I found her body very attractive. Yet Lin Yi remained silent, not saying a word. Now he finally reacted and responded, "Let's go." Behind them, Mr. Liu could only wonder in his mind, not understanding what was happening. As night fell, the streetlights began to turn on. The car rolled forward. Inside the car, Bing Bing was driving while joking with Lin Yi. "Mr. Lin, if your sister and my brother have no issues, then perhaps they are preparing to get married next year. Do you have any requirements regarding the betrothal gifts from your side?" Lin Yi replied, "There are no requirements. Both families are quite well off. If they get married, there shouldn't be any headaches about money. As for the betrothal gifts, let's skip that." Hearing that, Bing Bing responded, "If there is to be, then it still needs to exist. Our family will offer 1 million yuan. If Mr. Lin has no objections, then let's settle on this amount." Lin Yi glanced at Bing Bing and agreed. "That's fine. If your company needs any assistance, just call Xian Zhao. Just mention my name." Bing Bing was very happy to hear that. All right then. After a long journey, they finally arrived at Lin Yi's house. He got out of the car and turned back to wave. "Goodbye, Bing Bing. Thank you." Bing Bing, sitting in the car, waved back at Lin Yi. She was indeed a beauty obsessed with handsome men. Number 2, no one would dare to claim number 1. Bing Bing was fascinated by Lin Yi, and she thought to herself, how can there be such a handsome man? When Lin Yi returned home, a voice rang out. "Are you back?" It was the voice of Ji Qunyan. She asked Lin Yi, "Have the company matters been resolved? Was there any problem?" As she spoke, she helped him take off his suit jacket. Ji Qunyan's hands were really fair and delicate. Lin Yi smiled while looking at her and replied, "Everything is done. In the future, the main focus of business will be shifted to Yangcheng. Relying on real estate in Nation TH, the development speed will definitely be slow." Ji Qunyan smiled gently, squinting her eyes and saying, "You shouldn't look at the traditional industry with the eyes of the information technology sector. Traditional industries, of course, will develop more slowly." Suddenly, a phone call came in for Lin Yi. He answered, "I'm not in Nation TH. Isn't the show supposed to be filmed in 2 days? Why are you calling to rush me today?" Meanwhile, Ji Qunyan was still helping him hang up the jacket. A beautiful woman's voice echoed through the phone. She seemed very gentle while talking to Lin Yi. "I'm not rushing you to come back. It's just that the program leader wants to discuss a little. They want to utilize your Wangjiang terminal. Regarding the fee, I can only give an estimated price of 300,000. Upon hearing this, Lin Yi thought for a moment. He gently rubbed his temple and replied, "This little money compared to my plan. How about you keep it as gas money?" The beauty continued, "Yes, thank you, Mr. Lin. I will find an opportunity to repay your kindness." 2 days later, at the Wangjiang terminal. The scenery here is truly wonderful, bustling with people. Lin Yi stood in contemplation, thinking, there are quite a lot of people here. Suddenly, a voice rang out, "Handsome guy, handsome guy." Lin Yi turned around to see 2 beauties with pink hair and a guy standing behind them. The girl with pink hair, ponytail tied, cheerfully greeted Lin Yi. "Handsome guy, do you remember me?" She happily continued, "We met before at the television station. I even wanted to invite you to join my team, so the results would be even better." But Lin Yi replied indifferently, "No, you are too young." Hearing that, the ponytailed beauty immediately retorted, "Not small, I'm already 23 years old." But in fact, Lin Yi wasn't talking about age. He smiled and explained, "I meant small measurements, not age." She was taken aback and exclaimed, "Oh my goodness, how can you say that to a beauty like me?" She continued to express her annoyance. "If you weren't handsome, I would have knocked you out by now. It's true that good-looking guys can say anything without getting hit." Then she introduced the 2 people standing next to her. One was a girl with pink hair who had her hair down, and the one beside her was her brother with slightly purple hair. She continued, "Handsome guy, you've misunderstood. Actually, the one on your team is not me, but my sister. This is my sister, Carrie Lee, and that's my brother, Hwang Yun-hang. This time, they're participating in the event, and I'm just here to see them off and take a stroll around Nation TH." Carrie Lee started chatting with Lin Yi. "Both of us have quite good physical skills, but our knowledge of wilderness survival is still lacking. If the three of us are on the same team, we could achieve great results." Lin Yi rubbed his neck and replied, "All right then. If you say so, it must be true." "Just right. I wouldn't find it interesting alone." Carrie Lee turned to speak to her sister. "It's almost time, so we should head out first. You find a hotel and wait for us to come back. Don't wander off." The younger sister placed her hands on her hips and replied nonchalantly, "I know already. There is this enthusiastic younger sister here, cheering for her older sister. Sister, go for it!" Suddenly, a group of people came and said, "Get out of the way! Get out of the way!" A super cool man with brown hair, wearing black glasses and a very aloof demeanor, stepped forward. The younger sister saw the handsome guy and was so mesmerized that she tugged on her sister's hair. "Oh my god, it's Lee Chen-shing," Carrie Lee asked in surprise. "You even know them?" Lee Chen-shing took off his glasses and winked to showcase his world-class handsome looks. The younger sister immediately replied, "Of course I know. He is the top idol in the country, Lee Chen-shing. His reputation in the entertainment industry is huge. You came here and don't know him? That's so lame." The older sister fell silent, unable to say anything in response to her sister's unconditional crush on the handsome guy. Carrie Lee wondered, how did they invite such a famous person to this event? Meanwhile, the younger sister was still captivated by Lee Chen-shing's good looks. She continued, "Everyone, don't say that. After the filming, you must help my beloved get his autograph for me, okay?" Carrie Lee just shook her head and replied to her sister, "A person like him is exactly a burden. Bringing him along is useless. Don't dream anymore, just go home." Saying that, Carrie Lee, Hwang Yun-hang, and Lin Yi turned around and walked forward. Lin Yi remained silent, pondering something. The star earlier didn't cooperate. It seems like him. Truly fated rivals. A gloomy atmosphere enveloped them, and Yun-hang unexpectedly spoke up. "I didn't expect there to be so many famous stars. That's quite something." Carrie Lee responded, "No need to pay much attention to them. Doing our own job well is what matters." The host suddenly announced to everyone present, "Attention contestants, there are 10 minutes left before the boat sets off. Please gather quickly." The person continued, "The wild survival event this time will have no fixed filming time. The island we are heading to is called Kyushu Island. We will stop 1 nautical mile away. The person who successfully climbs to the top will be the champion. Everyone, do your best." Lin Yi showed no interest, quietly leaving. Seeing that, the host didn't know what else to say. After a while, the three of them were walking together in a corridor. Carrie Lee reminded, "Mr. Lin, according to the program's regulations, we can go to the island at any time, so we should prepare in advance." Lin Yi calmly replied, "There's some trivial matter. Let's have dinner first and then talk." Yun-hang's face suddenly turned serious. She said the director had already mentioned, "The performance can happen at any moment. If we're in the middle of a meal and the bowl is full, will we miss a good opportunity?" Lin Yi, irritated, turned around to explain to her, "What are you talking about? The distance from Nation TH to Island Kyushu is 900 nautical miles. At the current speed, at least 50 kilometers per hour, it would take at least 36 hours. Why the rush? Are we just going to be left in the Pacific Ocean?" Hearing that, their expressions turned astonished, eyes wide and mouths agape. Carrie Lee, somewhat confused, spoke up, "But we can't even cover a nautical mile." Lin Yi waved his hand in response. "We have to find a lifeboat." Yun-hang watched Lin Yi's back as she told Carrie, "Don't listen to his nonsense." He continued, "Right now, everyone is hoping for that. The competition among the boats is a process of elimination. Who can guarantee that they can secure a boat? Carrie replied, I feel it's a mistake for us to be grouped with him. After a moment of contemplation, Carrie seriously expressed her thoughts. I think this person is not bad. At least he won't hold us back. Let's go eat first. In the dining room of the cruise ship, someone spoke up to Lin Yi. Hey buddy, we still have the room at our table. Do you want to join us? The person was Wu Jin-tong, sitting with two burly-looking men. Lin Yi responded to him. Are you still unhappy because I punched your guy last time? Jin-tong smiled and replied, I told you not to think just because you beat me that you are really something. There are many experts here. Suddenly, a hand wrapped around Lin Yi's arm. It was Ding Xin. She smiled and suggested, Sir, I hope to have this meal with you. She gently asked, Is that okay? The two of them sat down at the same table. Lin Yi asked in confusion, Why did you pull me over here? Are you afraid I'll get into a fight with them? Ding Xin chuckled lightly and answered, Because those two are representatives from Nation M. They are very skilled, but don't worry, I will protect you. The two burly men were Brown and Martin, the team leader and wilderness survival expert. Martin glanced over and asked, That guy from Nation H is very skilled? Jin-tong immediately replied, Very skilled. My disciple was once kicked away by him in one blow. Martin's complexion suddenly became eerie. He said, It's just a pity that according to the rules, we can't make a move here. Otherwise, I would have wanted to go solo with him already. He smiled as he planned, Let's wait until tonight, disguise ourselves a bit, sneak into his room, and then give him a lesson. They all broke into wicked smiles upon hearing this. Looking at the situation, Yun Hang spoke to Carrie Lee. Look, I'm telling you, a person with his personality will definitely provoke the enemy more. Carrie Lee quickly replied, After all, he is the one who received the invitation rather than being personally invited by the director. His skill level must be good, otherwise he wouldn't have analyzed what happened for us earlier. Yun Hang gritted his teeth, unwilling to accept, saying, Anyway, when he gets beaten up, you won't help. You don't have the time to deal with this. Ding Xin, after a moment, asked Lin Yi, Have you eaten enough? Her face flushed as she said, I think we should change places to talk. Lin Yi received a message on his phone, so he picked it up to check. It was a message from Ren Ci. She asked, Do you have time? Come to my office for a bit. I'm in room 7003. He quickly replied, Okay, I'll come over now. Lin Yi stood up and said to Ding Xin, I have an appointment. I'm sorry. Soon after, he arrived at the meeting place. Inside, there was Ren Ci along with several other people. As soon as she saw Lin Yi, she jumped up. You're here! She introduced the people present to him. Sitting on either side are the deputy directors of the program named Zhu Rui and Sun Liang. The person sitting in the middle is Wu Wen-shu. Seeing Lin Yi, he asked Ren Ci with curiosity, Is this the person you found? Are you sure about his condition? Ren Ci replied seriously, Athlete Lin Yi, whether in strength or skills, is top-notch among all athletes. He can be considered outstanding. Hearing this, Wen-shu said no more and gestured to the side. All right, please take a seat. This person is Niu Dongliang, an outdoor expert. Others will be arriving soon. Let's start discussing important matters. The door gradually opened, and soon after, a group of people led by Li Chenxing entered. He started introducing. Now that everyone is here, this person is Li Chenxing. In terms of professionalism, there is a slight gap between him and you all. I want everyone to form a team to compete for glory. Hearing this, Wen-shu turned to ask the others, What do you two think? Zhu Rui, feeling annoyed, replied, I'm sorry, even though you are the leader of this event, I won't accept such conditions. Upon hearing this, Wen-shu smiled and said, I understand. You are all energetic individuals who value the end result very much. Therefore, I cannot let everyone help without success. Jones smugly told them, You guys come up with a number, whatever it is. Dongliang frowned and replied, Each person 600,000. We only need to protect him for a week. We cannot safeguard the process. Suddenly, a hand slammed down on the table with great force. startling everyone present and drawing their attention to that direction. It was Lin Yi. His face turned pale, filled with anger as he thought, "What do they mean? Didn't they consult me? Do they see me as heir?" Thinking this, Lin Yi turned and walked away. Seeing this, Ren Si hurriedly ran over and asked him, "Where are you going?" He coldly replied, "Next time clarify things before calling me over. Don't waste my time." Noticing him looking somewhat familiar, Li Chunxing quickly called out to him, "Wait a minute." Jones, somewhat surprised, exclaimed, "You've got some nerve. I still haven't settled accounts with you from before, and yet you dare to come here." Lin Yi sneered and asked, "Are you really trying to settle scores with someone like me?" He became angry upon hearing Lin Yi say that. "If I don't teach you a lesson, you'll never remember." Seeing the situation becoming awkward, Wen Shu immediately spoke up to mediate. "Jones, he's with Ren Si. Just give him some face. Let's consider this matter settled." Hearing this, Jones glanced at Ren Si and told her, "Director Ren Si, I hope you can manage your friend properly. If this happens again, I will settle old scores along with new ones." Lin Yi felt uncomfortable hearing him say that. "You don't need to give her any face. If there's anything—" As Lin Yi raised his hand while speaking, unexpectedly, he slapped Jones hard across the face. "Let's settle this right now." Jones was startled, holding his face. You dared to hit me?" He turned to the people standing there. "What are you all standing there for? Hurry up and beat him up." Lin Yi lightly cracked his knuckles. "Let's warm up first." The group rushed forward, but Lin Yi nimbly sidestepped, simultaneously extending his hand and directly slapping the face of the one charging at him. He then forcefully slammed that person's head down onto the table. Another person suddenly rushed in to attack, but Lin Yi reacted, decisively kicking him straight in the head. Lin Yi gently pulled his legs back as he lay unconscious on the ground. Seeing this scene, Wen Shu angrily shouted, "Lin Yi, you're going too far. Do you even know what you're doing? How dare you hit someone? Now I will cancel your participation qualification." Ren Si felt powerless and frustrated in this awkward situation. Lin Yi, somewhat confused, asked, "Are you sure you're not going to let me participate in the filming?" Not wanting to waste any more time there, he turned to leave. Seeing this, Wen Shu became even angrier and threatened, "I will definitely use my authority to cancel your qualification." "All right," Lin Yi calmly replied, smiling confidently. He said, "Just don't come begging me when that time comes. Let's just wait and see." Wen Shu turned to help Jones up and quickly apologized. "Mr. Jones, I'm really sorry. I didn't expect this to happen." Jones angrily pointed, "I hope Mr. Wu can immediately throw this guy off the boat. I don't want to see him for even a single moment." Wu Wenshu quickly responded, "This might be a bit difficult. After all, we are at sea, but I have cancelled his qualification." He then turned to Ren Si, saying, "Director Ren Si, arrange things to limit his activities, making sure he doesn't appear in public places." She reluctantly replied, "Then just listen to Mr. Wu." Suddenly, a man rushed over to report, "Mr. Wu, there's something wrong with this boat. The boat has changed direction." Hearing that, Wen Shu was astonished. "Why is that? Everything was fine, so why change direction? Who would dare do such a thing?" Ren Si calmly responded, "It's Lin Yi." Her expression became serious. "You expelled him, so he ordered the boat to return." Upon hearing this, Wen Shu appeared incredulous. "Nonsense! How does he have the right to tell the boat to turn back?" Ren Si glanced at Wu Wenshu with a look of complete disappointment. "Because this boat belongs to Lin Yi." Wu Wenshu was now in a state of panic, her face turning pale. "What are you saying? This boat belongs to Lin Yi?" Ren Si replied, "That's right. He's not only a popular streamer online, but also the owner of Wangjiang Terminal. If he hadn't participated in the program, they wouldn't have even thought about renting out the boat. The money from the fees wouldn't even cover the fuel costs." Wu Wenshu jolted as she realized the seriousness of the issue. "But we already signed the contract earlier. If we violate the contract, we have to pay 3 times the amount." Ren Si replied with an indifferent expression. 3 times, you feel he can't make it. The boat has probably changed direction now. The program can't be filmed on schedule, so you should go and apologize. Wu Wenshu was still very anxious at this moment. Ren-si, you two have a good relationship. You go tell him not to steer the boat back. Otherwise, I will fire you. Ren-si turned to him with a cold glare. Whether you fire me or not, I can't stop this from happening, but not being able to film the program on schedule is your fault. Wu Wenshu looked up at the ceiling with a face full of fear, the blood vessels visible in his eyes. He chased after Ren-si. Don't go! Which room is Lin Yi in? I'll go find him. Wu Wenshu raised his head to look at room 999. With a humble demeanor, he called out, Mr. Lin, sorry to bother you. Lin Yi stepped out and asked, Yes, what do you need me for? Wu Wenshu replied, Mr. Lin, I was wrong earlier. Please don't hold it against me. He said with a worried expression, Aren't we in a cooperative relationship? You can't unilaterally terminate the contract. Lin Yi placed a hand on his neck. I'm just sitting in my own boat heading home. How is this related to breaching the contract? Wu Wenshu replied, Mr. Lin, I know I was wrong. Earlier I was just talking nonsense. You just compete normally. Once we get to the island, I'll make sure the production team pays more attention to you. I will protect your boat and help you achieve good results. Lin Yi entered the preparation room and was about to close the door. That's not necessary. I prefer to let my strength speak for itself. Don't make me uncomfortable. Just go back. Wu Wenshu tried to hold the door, looking pitiful. What about the boat direction change? Lin Yi closed the door. I will arrange that action. This made Wu Wenshu startled. In a corridor of the hotel, Wu Wenshu was walking alone. After talking to Lin Yi, he realized, indeed, one cannot offend the boss. Suddenly, Wu Wenshu saw Jones icing his face. He went over to greet him. Mr. Jones! Jones turned his face looking very angry. That Lin Yi, you have to handle him properly. Wu Wenshu placed his hand over his chest. I have thought it over. My previous approach was a bit inappropriate. One should be magnanimous, and it's unnecessary to make a fuss over this matter. Jones replied with an angry expression. Mr. Wu, what do you mean? Are you saying this will just be resolved like that? Wu Wenshu left, waving goodbye. Mr. Jones, I have other matters to attend to. I'll head out now. See you later. Jones threw the ice bag on the ground, his face filled with anger and resentment. So self-important. That guy with a little talent thinks he has some skills, huh? Li Chunxing, sitting in a chair, suddenly had someone approach him. He wondered, what happened? Jones replied angrily, Wu Wenshu couldn't handle that person, and he even agreed to let him participate in the show. Li Chunxing rested his chin on his hand, deep in thought. You know that guy is quite famous. Li Chunxing continued. The station manager is probably afraid that after returning, he'll provoke those people, so he's not going too hard on this. There are so many people on the boat, we can find a few to give him a lesson, let him remember it well. Jones agreed with Li Chunxing's idea. Right, good idea. Let's go see if anyone wants to take this job. Now it was dark, and the lights of the large ship sparkled on the sea. Lin Yi stood on the deck, admiring the surrounding scenery. Suddenly, a girl approached. Mr. Lin, you've lost your qualification, right? Zhao Yini, with her beautiful appearance, was walking towards Lin Yi. Not really. I'm still doing fine, aren't I? Lin Yi replied. He asked, Who are you? Zhao Yini wiped her tears with a handkerchief, looking pitiful. My name is Zhao Yini. I am an actress in the same company as Li Chunxing. The company decided to find a few people to take him for this program, but they rejected me because I'm a girl and didn't want to take me along. Lin Yi said, Your company is too much. How can they bully the weak like that? Zhao Yini unexpectedly became cheerful again. I wanted to ask if you have found a team yet. Could you take me with you? Lin Yi replied, No. His one sentence left Zhao Yini stunned. You're too weak. Zhao Yini looked at Lin Yi with a puzzled expression. She grabbed his hand, trying to hold on. Please don't go. Don't just see me as thin. I usually love working out at the gym. I can definitely keep up with you. Can you take me with you? Lin Yi pulled Zhao Yinyi's hand away from his. Training normally is not the same as going for wilderness survival. You should go look for someone else. After that, Lin Yi left without caring about Zhao Yinyi's feelings. Zhao Yinyi was looking down with a sad expression, seemingly disappointed in herself. At the door of Lin Yi's room, someone successfully swiped their card and unlocked the door. The door was slowly opening, and a group of unfamiliar people immediately rushed into Lin Yi's room. One person in the group noticed something unusual. The man in the gray outfit said, "Where did that guy go?" The man in the white outfit wondered, "What's up with his room? It's more upscale than ours, and I still have a lot of stuff to get to." The man in white rested his chin on his hand, contemplating, "Is the script team being biased?" The man in gray replied, "Compared to us, he is definitely something special. After all, he's the one who received a personal invitation." The man in gray turned to the back. "Wait, it seems like someone is coming." Footsteps were approaching. Lin Yi had appeared. "You guys are quite impressive, to be able to sneak into my room so quietly," he said. The group of strangers immediately looked towards Lin Yi, laughing. "Surprised, aren't you? We want to teach you a lesson. You have to kneel down and apologize, take off all your clothes, and roll from inside out. If we fight you one-on-one, there's no way we wouldn't win." Lin Yi calmly replied, "You mean those guys?" Suddenly, he stomped his foot and charged forward. One of them shouted, "You're attacking from behind!" Lin Yi responded, "Is this what you call attacking from behind?" He threw a straight punch to the chin of the person in front of Am, then kicked the face of a person behind him. "Then this time, I'll fight openly and fairly." Two guys in blue were now lying on the floor after the confrontation with Lin Yi. The man in white was extremely worried and said, "Mr. Lin, can't we talk this out? We know we were wrong." Lin Yi approached with a terrifying smile. "If apologies were effective, then all my skills would be a waste, wouldn't they?" The man in white was hurled out of the room. Lin Yi was now dragging a guy in blue outside, his clothes stained with blood after the fight. At this moment, Ren Ci was working in her office when she heard a knock on the door. Lin Yi stood right at the office door. Ren Ci asked, "Why are you here?" Lin Yi replied, "A bunch of idiots came to cause trouble at your place, and I beat them up. Now the whole room is covered in blood. I can't stay there." Ren Ci asked, "What happened? Tell me who they are. I'll go revoke their participation right now." Lin Yi took a towel to wipe his hands and said, "Just a few monkeys. No need to treat it as real. They pose no threat at all." Ren Ci took off her coat for Lin Yi. "Do you need me to prepare a bath for you?" Lin Yi unexpectedly picked Ren Ci up. "Together?" Ren Ci was startled. "You put me down first." She felt very embarrassed. "What do you mean, together?" Lin Yi carried Ren Ci into the bathroom. "Why not? It's the simplest operation in the bathroom." At the same time, in room 418, two other people were sitting inside. The atmosphere was very tense. Jones asked, "What did the other party say?" Owen replied, "The target this time is Lin Yi, a person from Nation H. They request to capture him alive and bring him back to Nation M. If that can't be done, kill him on the island. He must not be allowed to survive back to Nation H. The reward is 40 million. Jones responded, "Then I'll go prepare. We might be heading to the island soon." At 4 a.m., the ship was still drifting at sea. An announcement was made. "Contestants, pay attention to the side of the ship, collect your lifeboats, and prepare to go to the island." At this moment, Ren Ci jolted awake. "Wake up quickly! We're getting ready to go to the island." Lin Yi had just woken up too. "What kind of timing did you choose? Can't you let someone sleep a little longer?" Ren Ci hurriedly got clothes for Lin Yi. "The variety program just wants this effect. Hurry up and wake up, otherwise you won't be able to catch the boat. Let me see how you get to the island." Lin Yi replied, "The starfish is all mine. I just need to tell the boat to go there." Ren Ci and Lin Yi quickly moved outside. "That can't be done. It's against the rules." Lin Yi responded, all right, Don't rush me. He said with a confident expression, "It's only 1 nautical mile. I can swim there if I have to." Ren-Si opposed. "Are you crazy? Aren't you afraid the sharks will eat you?" At the dock, people were waiting for their turn for the boats to set sail. Lin Yi walked slowly to the designated spot, muttering, "These crazy guys are actually pretty fast." With his temperament, he surely never expected to be scolded in return. As soon as he arrived, he was scolded in the face by a white-haired man. "Mr. Lin, you're too late." To these scoldings, Lin Yi just scratched his head and smiled. "Sorry, I woke up late." He brushed it off. Seeing the tense atmosphere between the two men, the pink-haired person tried to lighten the mood with a smile. "It's fine. Let's get ready." Meanwhile, still at the dock, there was a girl standing alone, looking flustered and worried as she kept glancing around. Lin Yi saw this and could not help but ponder. Being naturally fond of women, he took the initiative to speak up. "Why don't you come with us? We can take you to the island." The girl, hearing this, was very touched and her eyes glistened with tears. "Really? You really agreed to take me with you?" Then she bowed repeatedly, thanking the kindness of the male lead. "I thought I would have to go home directly." However, things were not so smooth. The white-haired man was furious at Lin Yi's presumptuousness, not caring about others' opinions, and became very annoyed. "Who is this person? Is this your boat? How can you take someone aboard without permission? This will slow us down." Upon hearing this, the girl was momentarily flustered and felt a bit offended. Lin Yi maintained his protagonist aura, standing coldly with a smile. "Oh, just one more person, it's not a big deal." The white-haired man was so exasperated he could almost see steam coming from his head because of Lin Yi's obstinacy. Just as he was about to curse, he was interrupted by the pink-haired girl. The pink-haired girl was equally indignant at Lin Yi's impudence, responding to him with a calmer attitude. "Mr. Lin, under the circumstances where the progress is not affected, I won't mind your good deed, but this boat has a weight limit, and if 4 people go aboard, I fear it might be a bit problematic." Lin Yi may have been scolded so much that his face was about to be calloused, or maybe his face was just too thick. Despite being berated, he stubbornly replied, "It's okay, I'll find another one." The girl there felt a bit guilty because her actions had affected everyone. However, with only 50 lifeboats available, they had all been snatched up by others. Lin Yi then realized that the situation might not be as optimistic as he had thought. However, he glanced over and thought, "It's not bad, I can still get one." But this boat had already been claimed by 2 men. When the 2 saw Lin Yi suddenly turn pale and stutter, It's you?" Lin Yi flashed a charming, sunny smile and tried to persuade the 2. "The island is dangerous. You never know what might happen." He immediately shifted to a threatening stance for the safety of the 2. "I think you 2 don't need to go anymore. You should go back and rest." The 2 men immediately panicked and ran away. Yes, we obey you. Yes, we'll listen to you and won't go to the island anymore." They left the boat they had just claimed for the male protagonist's team. The 2 on this side stood there, their mouths agape, eyes wide, completely puzzled by what just happened. At that moment, the loudspeaker blared, a woman's voice reminding everyone, "Those who have secured lifeboats, please come to collect your supplies on the island." Lin Yi was still gallant, carrying the equipment bag for the girl. She felt shy at his kindness and nodded in agreement. But when she reached out to take the bag, perhaps it was also the moment he ran out of kindness. He let go of the bag's strap, even though she hadn't managed to grasp it yet. She hurriedly caught it, unaware of its heavy weight. She bent down, lifting the heavy backpack, exclaiming, "Is it this heavy?" Lin Yi, who had just shown his gallantry, now adopted a cold tone. "What did you expect? Do you think this is a sightseeing trip?" She could only remain silent. The guide from earlier raised her voice to announce, "Now everyone, please choose the correct route to your destination. I declare the filming has begun." "When are we departing? If we don't take the supplies, we'll fall behind," she asked. Lin Yi was ready, and he answered, "Right now." Then he stepped one foot onto the railing, leapt up with the flair of a main character. Indeed, nothing was impossible for him. With just a few jumps, he landed smoothly on the lifeboat. The girl watched, her eyes shining brightly, admiring the leading man. Lost in the brilliance of him, the character of her dreams urged her on with an irritating voice. "What are you thinking? Hurry down here." She, being a delicate woman, could only carefully descend the rope ladder, each step taken with the fear of slipping. His urging only made her more anxious. "Don't rush me, Lin Yi." Not fearing heights, he could not comprehend her fear. He was puzzled by her caution, pushing her more. "Come down right now! What are you doing up there?" He even urged, "Just jump down, I'll catch you." The girl was terrified, hanging there in mid-air, wanting to listen, yet wanting him to stop. But eventually, her heart won, and reason was blinded by his brilliance. She decided to take the risk and let go, jumping down from that height. But, unexpectedly, she was so panicked that she jumped without aiming, eyes tightly shut. Lin Yi was completely caught off guard by this situation. He never thought she would jump like that. "Look first and then jump!" He stretched out his hands as hard as he could to catch the beauty, but unfortunately, he still missed, falling with a splash into the water. Renzi, standing above, exclaimed, "Stinky man! Is there another girl clinging to you again?" He put in every effort to haul her up onto the boat, both of them lying there gasping for breath. He blurted out, "You're too heavy!" Zhao Yini shouted in panic, "My makeup is smudged! Ah, my makeup!" Lin Yi thought, "We're about to die and she's still worried about her makeup? My brilliant life is being ruined by her." Zhao Yini hurriedly took out her makeup to fix it. Lin Yi curiously asked, "Are you participating in a dating show and you're still worried about your makeup?" Zhao Yini turned around, scolding, "You're really not warm at all." Two boats were drifting on the sea, and ahead of them was a magnificent island. They had all set foot on the island. Carrie Lee called out to Lin Yi, "Mr. Lin, let's check the map and plan our route. This island is quite desolate. We need to be careful." Lin Yi agreed. "Okay, let's study it first. I'll dry the map a bit." He took out 2 stones to start a fire and successfully ignited a bright red flame. He took off his shirt, revealing his strong 6-pack abs. Zhao Yini looked at him with a dazed expression. "Your figure is really great. Even some male stars in the entertainment industry don't have a body like yours." Lin Yi felt shy. Meanwhile, Carrie Lee, standing behind, couldn't help but think, "This man's body is really reliable." Lin Yi put on his clothes again after they dried. He asked Carrie Lee, "Have you found the way?" Carrie Lee replied, "There are 3 roads quite close." She answered while pointing at the map. "But all 3 roads are blocked by a no-passing zone. Therefore, we have to find another way. This route is not close, but it's quite safe." Lin Yi said, "Let's just go around it." Huang Yunhang remarked, "That area is marked clearly, so it definitely doesn't mean we can just go around. There will definitely be dangers nearby." Lin Yi quickly analyzed. "Typically, swampy areas like this usually have crocodiles. It's not a big deal." The other 3 couldn't retort to Lin Yi's statement. Zhao Yini cried, "Crocodiles! And it's not a big deal. Those things eat people." Lin Yi laughed cheerfully. "It's okay, I can run fast." Carrie Lee could only say, "Oh, is that so?" Huang Yunhang seemed discontent. "We are the main force of this operation. As a wilderness survival expert, we must come up with a reasonable route, minimizing danger as much as possible, not just boasting. If you keep acting like this, you'll be a burden to us." Carrie Lee interjected, "All right." She said, "Mr. Lin, that place is too dangerous. I cannot agree to it." Lin Yi conceded, "Then there's no other choice. When the time comes, we'll split up." Carrie Lee was taken aback by his response, and she sighed in helplessness. Carrie Lee analyzed the map. "This road overlaps. We can travel together for a while, and then split up." Lin Yi nodded in agreement. "Then it's settled. Let's go." He picked up the camera and called out, "Lin Yi, wait! Are you really planning to go to the swamp?" Lin Yi replied, "That's right." "But I'm your cameraman. I can't go, the other guy said. Lin Yi bent down to grab his backpack. Here's the deal. The safe part of the journey, you follow me. When it gets dangerous, I'll go alone. Lin Yi put on his backpack and said, when it gets dangerous, you don't have to follow me all the time. The guy turned around, startled. No way! I have the important task of staying close. Your skills are valuable. Lin Yi was helpless. Seriously? He took a step forward and said to the cameraman, anyway, I've made up my mind. If you're not afraid of death, then follow me. The cameraman panicked. Hey, how come? Sunlight filtered through the tree canopies, and Lin Yi said, I think it's fine. We should set off now. Zhao Yini excitedly chimed in, all right, let's depart from the island. A chameleon was basking in the sun. Lin Yi and his friends were on their way to explore the island. Lin Yi and Yun Hang were also carrying knives. Behind the rock, two people were scheming together. One person said, let's follow them. Later, when we get to a deserted place, we will rob them. The cameraman was recording their journey. The blonde man asked the person next to him, is everything prepared? The other replied, everything is ready. Once we get a bit deeper, we'll shake off the ones behind us. Then it will be done without anyone noticing, only the weapon isn't very comfortable to use, he said. He continued, they have more people, it's hard to find an opportunity, if you want to survive, you must kill. The other nodded. I understand. The four people from Lin Yi were still continuing their journey, treading carefully. Suddenly, Zhao Yini yelled, ah! Lin Yi turned back and asked, what's wrong? Zhao Yini said in fear, there's a big spider on the tree, bigger than my hand. Lin Yi advised, protect yourself well, cover everything except your eyes. If you get bitten by insects, you won't survive. Carrie Lee said to Lin Yi, should we speed up? I always feel danger lurking from all directions. Yun Hang also agreed, I sense that too. There might be snakes ahead, so it's better to be cautious. Lin Yi remained very calm. Don't worry, even if there are snakes, they aren't venomous. Just make sure no insects fall on you. Yun Hang was still worried. How can you be so sure? What if a wild beast suddenly jumps out? Lin Yi explained, this is a deserted island. Having crocodiles here is already a great favor from nature. Do you imagine it's like in a novel, where a man-eating beast suddenly jumps out? Isn't that silly? Yun Hang was angry. You're the one being silly. She had to step in to mediate, saying, all right, let's not argue anymore. From a biological standpoint, the chains of organisms and plants all originate from the jungle. Lower organisms are active outside the area. Lin Yi was surprised. You know quite a bit, don't you? Zhao Yini laughed cheerfully, and Lin Yi continued. This habit is similar to humans. The wealthy live on top, while the poor stay outside. It's all the same principle. Suddenly, Lin Yi sensed something that startled them. Wait, there's a sound of footsteps coming closer. It was a long-haired man. He said, what a coincidence. In such a big place, we can meet each other. Zhao Yini greeted him. Li Chenxing, you guys are here. He said, I have a little matter to discuss with you. Our supplies are not much. Your team has 2 women. Could you share a bit with us? Zhao Yi was confused. What is this? Lin Yi said, I see that the 4 of you can live without doing anything, basically not needing supplies. So, can you give us some stuff? With his hair standing on end, he said, what do you mean? We came to negotiate with you. Why are you insulting us? Lin Yi was decisive. Insulting is still light. Go as far as you can. Don't stay here to be a nuisance. He was angry. But I don't want to let you go unless you give us supplies. Although this is a show, the essence is survival on a desert island. Therefore, robbing supplies is one of the plot points of the program. Lin Yi was surprised. What? Great. You guys are paving the way for the rat to run away. He continued, robbing stuff from you guys means I won't have to worry about supplies for half a month. Carrie Lee and Huang Vanhang had taken fighting stances. Carrie Lee said, you 2 step back. Yun Hang was also furious. This guy is really useless. Instead, he's causing more trouble. A helicopter appeared above, and a large boat was out at sea. Those were all equipment from the program to monitor the participants' journey. A staff member rushed in to report, "Rensi, it's not good. That guy Lin Yi wants to fight with someone else." Rensi gasped. "Is it a robbery of supplies?" she asked, and looked at everyone who was watching. Even Jones beside Rensi was paying close attention. Jones said to Rensi, "Miss Rensi, your people seem a bit dangerous." Rensi replied to him, "What is Li Chunxing participating in this event for? You and I both know the answer. If possible, I hope your people keep their distance from him. Otherwise, the day of elimination is not far away." Jones chuckled. "Are you talking about Lin Yi or my Li Chunxing?" Rensi answered, "Saying that is going too far. I know your relationship with Lin Yi. You can't do such things just to protect your friend, right? As the director of the event, you're breaking the rules by doing so." Rensi insisted, "If you don't believe me, then there's nothing I can do." On the island, the guy with spiky hair was preparing to rush in and hit Carrie Lee. "Heh, your postures aren't bad." One person said, "But who knows how many punches they can endure." That guy charged at Carrie Lee, but missed. Immediately, she kneed him in the stomach, sending him flying into a tree with a painful thud. Zhao Yini exclaimed in surprise, "Oh my God!" The spiky-haired guy then called his teammate Meng to join in. They lunged forward to fight with Carrie Lee and Yun Hang. Carrie Lee punched a guy. Yun Hang also punched another guy. Carrie Lee continued to punch yet another guy. Yun Hang kicked a different guy, causing him to fall backward. After that, the guy with the spiky hair knelt down, surrendering. "Boss, I was wrong. Let me go," he begged. Jones was left speechless in shock. Rensi said, "Now you all get ready to bring them back. The later part of the show doesn't need to go on." Lin Yi's group demanded the other guys to leave their belongings and exit the show. But then, another group of people appeared. "Wait!" It was two tall, muscular young men. One of them said, "Who knows where the stuff is going now?" Yun Hang helplessly replied, "Are you guys here to fight for the loot too?" The white-haired guy charged forward and shouted, "Stop talking! Make your move! Come on, hit me!" He managed to block Yun Hang's punch, but immediately after, he punched Yun Hang right in the face and yelled at him. On Carrie Lee's side, she couldn't defend against the guy with his hair tied back. He kneed her in the face. However, someone intervened and said, "No way." A pair of feet in green shoes lifted up. The guy with the tied-back hair was taken aback. He got kicked but managed to defend himself in time. But if... He hadn't finished his sentence before being kicked in the face. It was Lin Yi who had sent that guy flying. Carrie Lee stood behind, confused. How can this be? The white-haired man gaped. Just one more strike, and I haven't even used my strength. He had helped his companion leave. Today, we admit defeat and will take our leave. Lin Yi turned back to ask the original group, "What about you guys?" They quickly sprinted away. Lin Yi checked their supplies and noted, "These items aren't bad." Carrie Lee asked, "Who are you to be this formidable?" Lin Yi cheekily replied, "Maybe I've eaten too many kidneys and oysters." Behind them, Zhao Yini shouted, "There's a snake over there! Run!" A giant venomous snake appeared. Lin Yi picked up a knife and said, "Run? Tonight we're having snake meat." The cameraman exclaimed in fear, "Mr. Lin, are you sure that snake is edible?" Lin Yi replied with a sharp gaze, "Absolutely. I've been eating dry rations every day. I'm fed up with it. You all back off. Let me handle it." But Zhao Yini stood her ground. Lin Yi asked, "Why aren't you backing away? Aren't you afraid of dying?" Zhao Yini answered, "I feel like that snake looks somewhat familiar." Lin Yi questioned, "Familiar?" Zhao Yini explained, "I don't mean it that way. This species of snake seems like I've seen it before. I graduated from university with a major in biology, and after graduating, I was discovered. After that, I became an actress. Therefore, I've seen the specimen of this snake. It seems like its name is ball python, which is non-venomous." Lin Yi admired, "You're something, and there's still a use for it. Zhao Yini continued, "The strength of this python is incredible. If it wraps around you, you would probably suffocate to death." Lin Yi picked up a flying knife. "Then you just stand aside and watch. I'll show you what a master is." He threw the knife, hitting the python's neck. It immediately lost its life and fell with a thud, leaving everyone stunned. Zhao Yini was overjoyed. The book says that this species of snake can grow up to 1.8 meters at most, but this one must be 2.1 meters. It should be brought to the Biological Research Institute. It would count as a contribution to biology. Lin Yi reflected. This relates to the ecosystem. The oxygen content here is high, which can make animals grow larger. Carrie Lee, in fear, sweated. "There's another snake. Up ahead is the swamp. We can't continue together, Lin. Are you really going into the swamp? No intention to change direction?" Lin Yi was determined. "Then we can only split into two paths." Carrie Lee shook Lin Yi's hand. "I can go with you for this section. We are very happy. We hope to see you later." Lin Yi turned to Zhao Yini. "You go with them. When you feel you can't take it anymore, then leave the group. Don't push yourself." The cameraman mischievously asked, "So can I go with them?" Lin Yi replied, "You can't. You still have to record my unparalleled heroism. Whether I can escape or not depends entirely on you." Zhao Yini cheerfully said, "I still want to go with you." Lin Yi added, "Going with me is fine, but there is one thing I must make clear to you. If I feel that you can't continue anymore, you must give up immediately. No need to say too much. Can you do that?" Zhao Yini agreed. "Okay." Lin Yi waved goodbye. "See you later," and they parted ways. Carrie Lee looked at him with admiration. "Going through the swamp can save 3 days. If he can get through, he will be the champion." Lin Yi, Zhao Yini, and the cameraman went in one direction. There were 2 people monitoring their every move. The blonde man said, "That man is bold. How dare he go into the swamp? Doesn't he know there are alligators there?" The other person responded, "Just right. The swamp is dangerous terrain. Easy for us to take action." The cameraman called out, "Lin, Renzi has something to tell you." Renzi said, "Previously we surveyed that the swamp route is very dangerous. If possible, I hope you take a different route." Lin Yi replied, "Don't worry, it's all fine. When the program gets popular, I hope you can become the station manager." He also added, "Take a nice shower and wait for me." The cameraman was confused. Zhao Yini reminded, "Cameraman, don't air this part." Lin Yi said, "Let's go. Continue on the journey." Zhao Yini asked Lin Yi, "Lin, do you want to take the swamp route for higher efficiency?" Lin Yi replied, "It's just part of it, mainly to save time, to reach the destination in the shortest time, and plant the national flag of Nation H there. What about you? Why are you following me? I might just leave you behind in the second half." Zhao Yini responded, "It's okay. I know my own abilities. Actually, just getting here is enough for me, but I want to go even further." The 3 of them had almost reached the swamp. The cameraman said, "Lin, ahead is the swamp area. If we successfully get through here, there shouldn't be much danger anymore." Zhao Yini felt a bit scared. "Let's hurry. It feels really creepy here." Lin Yi said, "Earlier, I saw a shadow in the water. It might be a crocodile." Zhao Yini was terrified and moved closer to Lin Yi. Under the swamp, many bubbles were rising, and a crocodile was watching the 3 of them. Zhao Yini screamed, "Hey, a crocodile!" A huge crocodile came rushing towards them with its massive mouth wide open. Zhao Yini was terrified, gripping Mr. Lin's arm tightly, and shouted, "Crocodile!" When she saw a real big crocodile crawling towards them, its fierce eyes glaring at its prey in front. Mr. Lin said, "Everyone stand back a bit." As he spoke, he pulled out a short knife. He calmly stood face to face with the crocodile. The cameraman, witnessing this scene, became frightened, his face paling. Zhao Yini was so worried that she couldn't say a word. The ferocious crocodile slithered swiftly on the ground, approaching Mr. Lin while opening its mouth filled with teeth wide. Seeing that, Zhao Yini shouted loudly, "Mr. Lin, be careful!" Mr. Lin remained unfazed, leaping up very quickly. He thrust the knife straight into the crocodile's mouth, causing blood to splatter everywhere. Then, he used his hands to pull apart the jaws of the crocodile, channeling all his strength. A sphere emitted energy, supplying him with power. In no time, he tore the mouth of the crocodile apart. Zhao Yini and the cameraman were both astonished. She exclaimed, "Barehanded against a crocodile? Is this something a human can do?" Mr. Lin skillfully twirled the short knife in his hand, then stabbed forcefully into the head of the crocodile. Seeing no more resistance from the crocodile, Mr. Lin quickly pulled out his knife. Wiping sweat and panting, he said, "It's done." However, from behind, he detected the presence of an assassin. He thought, "No good! There's a murderous intent! Quickly dodge to the side!" He got shot in the shoulder. "Who the hell is it?" Mr. Lin thought to himself. Two assassins hiding behind the bushes quickly disappeared. Zhao Yini anxiously called out, "Brother Lin!" As for the cameraman, he frantically dialed a phone. Mr. Lin fell to the ground after being shot. Zhao Yini sat beside him, terrified. "Brother Lin! Brother Lin!" The cameraman also put down the camera and sat down to check the situation. Mr. Lin grimaced and said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to die." At that moment, the program's helicopter arrived. A woman stepped down and quickly ran to Mr. Lin. "Don't move." She assessed the situation and said, "Let them help you check the wound." Mr. Lin gritted his teeth, sweating, and said, "Everyone help me detox and take the bullet out. It's nothing serious." The staff member looked worried. "Huh? Is this okay?" 2 hours later, the bullet had been extracted. After bandaging the wound, Ren Si said, "Now you follow me back. There's no need to participate in the next competition." She continued, "I will take you to the hospital where you need to receive more professional treatment." Mr. Lin was annoyed. "I'm not a kid who doesn't know about my own condition." He clenched his fist and said, "If I don't find out the two murderers, they will continue to harm others. At that point, this show really won't need to be filmed anymore." She still anxiously asked, "This situation has exceeded my ability to control. Do you have any way to handle it? Or have you offended anyone recently? Is there someone wanting to take revenge on you?" He replied, "As I predict, the ones who attacked you are very likely disguised. They sneaked into the production team to get to the island, taking the opportunity when you were off guard to make their move." Putting on his coat, he added, "I don't think they will easily let this go." She was still not at ease. "In your current state, you cannot continue filming. If the wound gets infected, it will be very dangerous. Quickly come back with me." He calmly said, "A small wound like this is nothing. You don't need to worry so much." However, she still worriedly said, "But—" He would not let her finish, angrily saying, "If you are here but not here, that would be very rude." He continued, "Leave the medicine for me. We will continue filming as usual." Seeing his determination, she could only remain silent, agree, and return to the crew. The helicopter departed. At this moment, Zhao Yini asked, "Anlin, what shall we do next?" He replied, "Keep going forward." She said, "You can only have a temporary bandage. You shouldn't engage in strenuous activities." He responded, "But I'm not incapacitated. Don't delay the work." The next day, Mr. Lin happily said, "Finally, it's here. This volcano is called Yumeshima, standing over 800 meters tall, which isn't considered large." Zhao Yini laughed and replied, "Although it's thanks to you that I got here, I also feel quite capable myself." He continued filming, adding, "Mr. Lin, my work is basically done now. Later, when we climb the mountain, everything will be handed over to the drone." Hearing this, Mr. Lin waved his hand and said, "You've worked hard these 2 days." Half an hour later, Mr. Lin and Zhao Yini were walking up the mountain. He asked, "How do you feel?" Zhao Yini replied, "It's still fine. I can persevere." She cheerfully added, "But it's rather strange. I originally wanted you to go ahead while I climbed slowly behind, but I've realized I'm not tired at all." Mr. Lin, while walking, said, I also feel extremely light. This place is a bit unusual. He pondered for a moment before continuing. According to predictions, the oxygen levels here are higher than in other places, so our heart and lung functions are working more vigorously than usual. He tossed a rope to Zhao Yini, saying, "Wrap this around. It will be a bit safer." Zhao Yini used the rope to climb after Mr. Lin. She felt tired and was breathing heavily, sweat dripping all over. "Mr. Lin, wait a moment, I want to take a break." Mr. Lin turned back to look. "Look, we're not far from the front." Suddenly, he felt that something was off. He looked down at the stream below the cliff. Suddenly, Zhao Yini pointed upwards and asked, "What is going on? There are people on the mountain." Two dark figures flashed by above. Mr. Lin immediately unlocked the rope and ran off, saying, "You stay here for a moment, I'll go take a look." He kicked hard off the stones, quickly jumping up. When he reached the top of the mountain, where the strangers were standing, he saw two people dressed in black and wearing masks. He shouted loudly, "Who are you?" They stared at him and then grinned wickedly. After that, they quickly lunged to attack. Mr. Lin used his fists to block, calmly saying, "I prefer those who don't waste words and get straight to the point like you guys." One of the men in black kicked a leg towards him. Mr. Lin quickly bent low to dodge the blow. At that moment, the other one swiftly delivered a kick to his shoulder. Meanwhile, a helicopter had appeared directly above them. They thought, "This kiddo has some strength." The two men in black jumped off the cliff. Mr. Lin watched them go, mumbling, "If it weren't for my injury, I wouldn't let them off the hook." He opened his backpack, took out a flagpole, and confidently planted his country's flag at the top of the mountain. The helicopter circled overhead. He contacted Ren Si, saying, "Have you found anything? Who are those two followers?" Ren Si replied, "I found out." She said, "I just received news that two people have abandoned the program and want to leave. Their traces cannot be found in the surveillance system, and the cameraman couldn't keep up with them." He replied, "I want to meet those two at the ship the Starfish, which is out at sea." Meanwhile, the two assassins were in the room packing their things. The one with black hair said, "This time we have failed. We need to prepare for the next step. Go to Nation TH. The one with red hair looked anxious. "But I feel like next time we strike, we won't have such a good opportunity again." He continued, "Moreover, we've already experienced it. His strength is not low at all." The one in black laughed scornfully. "If he wasn't formidable, then your life wouldn't be worth $2 million. He added, "It seems we have to strike from a distance to be safe." The one with red hair nodded in agreement, a sinister smile spreading across his face. At that moment, there was a knock on the door. Suddenly, the door was kicked open. Mr. Lin stood towering in front of the room. The two assassins were surprised and worriedly exclaimed, "You!" Without hesitation, Mr. Lin kicked the red-haired assassin away. He coldly said, "I have traced your backgrounds. Assassins from the Dark Web organization." The red-haired one pretended to be confused. "What are you talking about? I'm just an ordinary cashier, not an assassin at all. Don't slander us." Mr. Lin angrily shouted, "You have never worked without a basis. I have arrived here, and of course, I have investigated everything thoroughly." He continued, "It is best for you to tell me who sent you here. Don't make me repeat myself." The red-haired man pretended to be gentle and said, "You really misunderstand." But at the same time, he signaled to the black-haired teammate behind him. Receiving the signal from the red-haired man, the black-haired man slowly moved closer and opened the drawer of the desk. Meanwhile, the red-haired man tried to buy time. "Do we really look like the person you are looking for?" However, Mr. Lin had noticed. He delivered a quick and precise kick that struck the black-haired man's head. After that, he grabbed his collar and said coldly, "You want to secretly take out a gun? Save those petty tricks for another time." He threw the black-haired man through the window and then looked at the red-haired man and said, "Do you think I would come here and give you a chance?" Mr. Lin calmly sat down in the chair and asked, "So, who sent you here?" He picked up a fork and said challengingly, "This ship, the Starfish, is mine. Therefore, no matter what happens, no one is getting in." He emphasized, "You are not as fortunate as he is. If you die, you will die in pain and torment." He smiled sinisterly at the sharp-minded meaning and said, "Unless you agree to reveal the mastermind behind it." The red-haired man replied fearfully, "The contact with them is named Loss, a bodyguard and driver for Andy." Mr. Lin asked again, "Who is Andy?" The red-haired man disclosed, "He is the CEO of Ying. He must have told Lucy to do this." Mr. Lin sighed. So it was because of the 3.0 chip technology, really despicable. If you die, you won't be able to pass the technology to the competitors, right? He continued, "I will arrange for some people to keep an eye on him." Ren Si said, "The rest I will handle. You go ahead if you have work to do." She worriedly added, "Remember to go to the hospital to handle your wounds a bit." The helicopter flew back to Mr. Lin's office building. Kyun Nian was sitting in the office checking documents. Suddenly, someone placed a cup of coffee in front of her. Mr. Lin winked at her and said, "Take a little break." Kyun Nian joyfully hugged him. "You're back." Mr. Lin smiled happily. "Oh, be careful. This is a company. You have to be mindful of your image." Kyun Nian touched his shoulder worriedly. "What's wrong with your shoulder?" Mr. Lin panicked and changed the subject. "It's nothing." But she still keenly noticed and said, "There must be something for me to see." Then she opened his vest and saw that his shoulder was bandaged. She panicked and asked, "What happened? Why is your shoulder wrapped in bandages?" He gave a sheepish smile and said, "Survival in the wild, got injured a bit during the action. That's why it's bandaged up." He put his jacket back on and said, "It's just a minor issue. No need to be so surprised." He continued, "Actually, this little injury is not in vain. No matter what, I still managed to bring home the championship." Then he hugged her, noticing she had become silent. He softly called out, "Kyun Nian." With tears welling in her eyes, she replied, "It doesn't matter what place you return in, as long as you can come back safe." At that moment, someone knocked on the door. Kyun Nian jumped and pulled away from Mr. Lin, saying, "Come in." Chi Xianzhao walked in with a stack of documents, and upon seeing Mr. Lin, he said, "Mr. Lin, you're back." He responded, "I was just looking for Miss G to report on some issues. It's good that you're here." Mr. Lin sat on the chair and asked, "How has the company been while I was away? Is there anything going on?" He handed the documents to Mr. Lin and reported, "It's quite stable. Especially the electronic communication side has prepared for shipment, but the phone side still hasn't made a decision. We have to wait for you." Mr. Lin glanced at the documents and asked, "How is Long Sin doing over there? Is the stock stable?" Xianzhao smiled and said, "Pretty good. The stock price is rising." Then Mr. Lin said, "There's this matter. You go handle it well. Long Shin has developed the chip code 3.0. Choose a day and leak this information." He continued, "Now let's generate some heat. I want a kind of misinformation propaganda." Xianzhao complied and said, "Such a big event could shake the whole industry. This time, Longxin can go international." After that, Mr. Lin stood up and said, "You organize the matters of the group, negotiate carefully with Miss G. I have some other issues to solve." Xianzhao bowed his head in acknowledgement and said, "Thank you, Mr. Lin, for your trust." Kyun Nian worriedly said, "Do you have time to go to the hospital for a checkup, to see if there's any major issue?" He chuckled wickedly and whispered to her, "There's nothing wrong inside." Hearing that, she blushed in embarrassment. At this moment, the helicopter flew towards the ship, the Starfish. Mr. Lin arrived at the room where the red-haired man was locked up and said, "I'll be straightforward. Aren't you an assassin? If I ask you to kill Andy, how much would it cost?" He turned pale and said, "Oh my God, are you asking me to kill Andy? Do you know what you're saying?" The red-haired man said, "Mr. Lin doesn't understand the wealthy elite abroad. They spend billions of dollars a year to reinforce their personal security. It's impossible for me to quietly kill him." Hearing this, Mr. Lin replied, "Then you should go to the dark web and buy his life." The red-haired man warned, "Once you post the information, your information will be targeted. If they haven't been harmed yet, you will have already been killed." Mr. Lin sat down in a chair and said, "If that's the case, then it won't be easy. I fear I might have to take matters into my own hands." The red-haired man exclaimed in alarm, "Although I have failed, because you haven't tortured me and have respected me, I advise you not to do anything foolish. If your company is still not as large as his, then this action is just seeking death." Mr. Lin responded, "I think they will soon realize that this attempt has failed. Perhaps they will send more assassins over." He asked the assassin, "Are you suggesting that I just sit here waiting to die?" The red-haired man waved his hand. "There's no other way. This world is like that. The big fish eat the small fish." Then Mr. Lin proposed to the assassin, "Don't go back to Nation M. Stay here with me." Hearing this, the red-haired man was startled and exclaimed, "I'm the assassin sent to kill you. Are you really sure you want to keep me here?" Mr. Lin firmly said, "Just right. I am short of a servant next to me. It would be great if you stayed." The red-haired man was surprised and dumbfounded, but then he lowered his head and said, "Thank you. Actually, this mission has failed, and if I go back, I will have no way to live." After that, he seriously bowed his head to see Mr. Lin out of the room. Ren-Si anxiously asked, "Will they still come after you?" Mr. Lin confidently replied, "Of course. Therefore, I must handle this matter before they take action." The next day at the company, Mr. Lin was sitting in his office with his feet on the table talking on the phone. The person on the other end asked, "Have you developed the 3.0 chip technology already? Why didn't you tell me? I could have helped you a bit." Mr. Lin replied, "You don't need to worry about this. Just sit back and enjoy the show. Let the public accounts and media handle it." Suddenly, someone knocked on the door. He said, "Someone from your side is here. Hang up now." A staff member holding documents entered and reported, "Mr. Lin, Andy Alice is outside and wants to see you." He rested his chin and smiled smugly, saying, "Let her in." Alice, wearing a pair of high blue heels, entered the room. She smiled and said, "Mr. Lin, it's been a long time since I last saw you." He politely invited her to sit down. "Please have a seat. Is there something you need?" She smiled and directly got to the point. "I feel that regarding the 3.0 chip matter, they should negotiate a bit." Mr. Lin replied coldly, "Wasn't it already discussed before? Is there still a need to talk about it?" She said, "Of course there is, because Long Sin's capabilities cannot support such advanced technology. If they could collaborate, it would definitely be mutually beneficial. Mr. Lin, being an intelligent person, you must realize this point." He said, "Didn't I already set conditions during our last meal? You all agreed to it." She pleaded, "That condition is something they cannot fulfill, but I come with sincerity." He coldly said, "Get out. Don't bring any sincerity here. Have your father speak to me himself. Otherwise, this afternoon I will meet with people from the company." She, feeling anxious, stood up abruptly. "Mr. Lin, please listen to me." But he pointed straight to the door, angrily saying, "Get out!" She was taken aback, but agreed to leave. He was satisfied, leaning back in the chair, smiling to himself, thinking, "Now the initiative is in my hands. These fools dare to challenge a hacker like me without even considering their own abilities." At that moment, someone called him. He answered the phone and said, "Andy, I am pleased to receive your call." The other person said, "Hello, Mr. Lin. I'm surprised you guessed who I am. We value this cooperation highly and hope we can have a pleasant collaboration this time." He coldly replied, "Whether the cooperation is pleasant or not, I do not know. But a few days ago, while I was filming a show, I was shot and injured, so I haven't been very happy lately." The other person pretended to be concerned. "Is that really what happened? That sounds quite terrifying. The safety measures of the production team are really lacking." He retorted, "Who says otherwise? The security in this city is quite poor. I am indeed a little frightened. Your daughter can't leave the nation alive." The other person angrily exclaimed, "If you dare to harm my daughter, I will definitely not let you go." He replied, "I will end the conversation here for today. If your daughter dares to set foot in the airport, I guarantee she won't be able to board the plane." he challenged. Try if you don't believe it. After that, he directly hung up the call. 10 minutes later, Xian Zhao entered the room with documents. Mr. Lin, he said, the representatives from Ying and Company A have contacted them. They want to discuss cooperation regarding the 3.0 chip with them. Mr. Lin read the documents and asked, who is in charge of these two companies? Xian Zhao replied, initially, they sent a deputy general manager, but just now, Ying called to say that the CEO, Andy, is coming to Nation TH soon and wants to discuss the matter personally with them. He said, all right, I will personally meet with Andy. As for Company A, Xian Zhao, Yuan, and Ding Xin can go. Xian Zhao said, Mr. Lin, the phone company needs to act immediately. He placed the files on the table and said, they have met and proposed solutions like this. Luckily, I have some time, so I'll take a look through them. In the evening at the villa, Mr. Lin took off his shoes and walked into the house. Kyun Nian was sitting on the sofa, happily eating snacks. You're back, she said. The new phone is about to be launched, but we haven't decided on a name yet, he replied. He sat down next to her and said, can you help me think of one? She cheerfully replied, how about calling it May? Why would you name it that? He asked. She shyly replied, because the two of us got to know each other in May, so I feel this name holds a lot of memories. He gently patted her head and said, all right, let's decide that. Lin Yi and Ji Kyun Nian were sitting on the sofa chatting with each other. At this moment, Ji Kyun Nian asked, it seems like there are only a few days until the Lunar New Year. Do you have any plans? Upon hearing this, he cheerfully replied, I'm going back to the Welfare Institute a few days earlier to buy them some New Year goodies and get some firecrackers for the New Year. That should be enough. Seeing that the answer was not what she expected, Ji Kyun Nian gloomily reminded him, but this is our first Lunar New Year together. Don't you think it's different from previous years? As soon as she said this, Lin Yi began to sweat a little. However, he quickly smiled and replied to her, of course, because heaven has brought something special to me. Not just special, since meeting you, my world has become a vibrant explosion of colors. However, it seemed his words immediately made her sit up, displeased, stating, you're just deceiving me. Then she turned away, reminding him about their first meeting. The first day we met was in the underground parking lot, and you were still so indifferent towards me. Lin Yi must have forgotten, so hearing this made him a bit startled. At this moment, he stood up, wrapped his arms around her waist, and replied, wrong. Lin Yi, suddenly hugging Ji Kyun Nian, took her by surprise. He said gently, the first time we met was in the lobby on the first floor of the company. I came to the HR department to report and saw you coming out of the elevator. At that moment, I was already attracted to you. Don't you remember that? It really breaks my heart. Seeing him say that, she was a bit confused and asked, really? Why don't I have any impression? At this moment, Lin Yi wiped his tears, pretending to be aggrieved, and replied, because you didn't pay me any attention back then. Your heart was directed towards the moon. The moon wouldn't care about the sewers at all. On the surface, it was like that, but deep down, this guy was still busy chuckling to himself, thinking, it's true you have no impression, because that story is something I made up. Afraid that his girlfriend would sulk, Kyun Nian promptly gave him a kiss, making him visibly delighted. Then she immediately began to act cute. All right, I know I was wrong. Mr. Lin, can you forgive me this time? Hearing that, Lin Yi playfully smacked her on the backside and asked, next time, will you still dare not to? Kyun Nian, feeling flustered, replied, I won't dare anymore. I won't dare anymore. Moreover, there won't be a next time. I'm going to shower now. Immediately she dashed off, leaving Lin Yi alone in the room. As soon as she left, the system Ling Wei appeared right behind. Lin Yi curiously asked, Master, have you unlocked a new profession yet? Immediately after that, a new job notification appeared in front of him. It said, New profession, farmer. Please claim your reward, 10 million yuan gold clay. After reading this line, his face changed, unable to believe his eyes. Who would have thought that one day the system would ask him to grow vegetables and raise fish? This made him a bit flustered. He scratched his head and hesitantly asked, "Is this profession really about farming?" The meaning on the surface was quite clear. Ling Wei did not refute. She replied, "That's right. Please claim your reward." Hearing this, he sighed. Even though he didn't want to at all, it was clear he had no choice but to accept it. Noticing he had accepted this profession, Ling Wei joyfully exclaimed, "Congratulations, Master, on unlocking a new profession. 10 million yuan has been transferred to your account, and the gold land is in the garage of Villa Number 1. After a while, Lin Yi arrived at the villa's garage. He walked while looking around, trying to find out where the system's golden soil was placed. He muttered to himself, "What kind of soil is still golden? Then what should I plant? Buying land is enough. This is really land-eating in the legend." It didn't take long to find the item. Soon he spotted a container filled with bags of soil nearby. Then he took out a small bag of soil from the container. After looking at it, he couldn't help but feel disappointed and said, "What gold? This is just real soil. There's hardly enough to plant flowers with." But suddenly, he discovered a line of text on the bag. "Golden soil has been concentrated and mixed with regular soil for use." After reading the instructions, he nodded and said, "Oh, so that's how it's used?" At that moment, Lin Yi's gaze turned to another corner. It turned out that inside the box, there was not only the so-called golden soil, but there was also a roll of paper along with something placed under the bags of soil.